It appears as though Elon Musk's potential voter fraud scheme has come to an abrupt end, at least temporarily, because after handing out checks for $1 million in a sweepstakes that appeared to bribe people into registering to vote or voting in a certain way, he has mysteriously, suddenly, stopped facilitating those payouts. And it's not just $1 million. Apparently people who have signed up or gotten their friends to sign up for that $47, they're also missing payments as well.
Elon Musk not paying people he owes money to?
Not paying his debts? What?
What?
Now, this is almost certainly a direct result of the Department of Justice announcing that they were indeed looking into the legality of what his super PAC, America PAC, has been doing in swing states around the country. Up until Wednesday of this week, the PAC was publicly announcing winners and even showing off those fancy oversized checks as proof. But ever since the DOJ notified his PAC that they could be in violation of election laws, there have been no new winners announced.
Goddamn DOJ.
Yeah, it's just another reason to get angry at the DOJ. Well, I would have my $1 million if it weren't for the damn government.
All these three-letter agencies trying to stop Elon Musk from saving the world and colonizing Mars and giving everyone a girlfriend. So we were far from the only ones calling out this lottery or sweepstakes or whatever that he wanted to call it, because despite his attempts to portray it as a bipartisan get-out-the-vote campaign, it is quite obvious to see exactly what was going on here, and he was barely trying to hide it. The trick was that he claims to have just been asking people to sign a petition showing that they support the First and Second Amendment.
You don't hate America, do you? Well, you love our Constitution, don't you?
Are you a patriotic enough dude? But there's a financial incentive to the entire thing. Currently, you can make $100 for a sign-up and $100 for each referral. And that's in addition to the chance to win $1 million.
And Musk had been waving all this away by claiming that, actually, anyone can win. As if the point of the whole fucking petition isn't to announce your support of Donald Trump and provide Musk and his political action committee all of your personal information so that they can endlessly spam and target you with political messaging, and then also the options on the table to just sell your lucrative information to the highest bidder, which is something that constantly goes on. But this is clearly targeted, and Musk hasn't been hiding his political intentions or ambitions recently. He's embraced Donald Trump as his candidate, despite previously stating that Trump would be far too old to serve another term as president. And we've already explained any number of reasons why a Trump presidency would greatly benefit him, but the two most obvious reasons would be his ability to skirt regulations and avoid paying taxes. It's really as simple as that. Still, the idea that his America PAC is simply doing nonpartisan voter outreach is laughable. But in regards to whether or not the laws can be enforced, that all comes down to, I guess, the interpretation of that law and whether you're willing to go after someone for it. Here's USA Today.
Jessica Levinson, a professor at Loyola Law School who teaches election and constitutional law, said it depends not only on what Musk specifically is doing, but more importantly on how a judge and the Justice Department might interpret what he is doing based on legal precedent. I think the short version is that a reasonable judge could absolutely conclude this is illegal, that it flies in the face of the federal law that says you don't get to pay anyone to register to vote or not to register to vote, Levinson told USA Today. And it's not just the lottery system, she added. It's who it is targeted to. It's not just everybody in America. It's just registered voters, just in swing states. And it was announced shortly before the election deadline in many of those states. The Musk PAC's online petition offering the money says that those eligible must pledge to support the Second Amendment, political shorthand for opposition to gun control measures, and a subject that's popular with Republican-leaning voters.
But that brings us to Thursday of this week, which is when we're filming the episode. And as of Thursday evening, there have been no winners of Elon Musk's contest since Tuesday, when the Department of Justice indicated they were looking into the legality of it. So the Washington Post mentioned the DOJ letter in some recent reporting, saying the Justice Department sent a letter to tech billionaire Elon Musk's political group, warning that its contest offering registered voters in swing states a chance to win $1 million for signing a petition could run afoul of federal election laws, according to a person familiar with the matter. The letter was sent from the agency's Public Integrity Section, which oversees the federal prosecutions of public officials and election crimes. And they add that it's not uncommon for the Justice Department to send letters to businesses or individuals warning of potentially illegal behavior. The letters do not indicate that a criminal investigation is ongoing, but are intended to deter the potentially illicit behavior.
Hey, how's it going? It's me, the Department of Justice. I noticed you're doing something over there, and I would have to, do a bunch of work to verify whether this is the case, but it seems it seems illegal. Just letting you know that I know, and maybe stop doing it.
You should probably knock it off, because otherwise we're all gonna have a bunch of paperwork. You're gonna be flying that private jet of yours across the country to show up in court. Nobody
Listen,
wants it.
crimes are easy to do, but enforcing the law is hard.
Oh,
so could you
so
just
hard.
not break the law, please? And if you did already, that's fine, but just stop doing it.
He just gets a fax that's printed out and it just says, "Stop breaking the law,
Stop
asshole."
breaking the law, asshole! CNN later reported what many others had noticed online. After the DOJ sent a letter to Musk's PAC, they stopped announcing the $1 million winners and haven't done so in the past 2 days. But they also noted that some of the wording around the so-called lottery had changed to indicate that the winners weren't just getting money for essentially nothing. No. They were actually being paid for a job by becoming vocal supporters of his Trump-friendly super PAC.
So yeah, they're not doing this. We're actually paying them for a hard day's work of coming out in support of this very obviously Trump-leaning super PAC.
Yeah, give a man $1 million, he'll eat for, well, several days. Teach a man to work for a super PAC,
Yeah.
he'll eat for a couple days as well.
Yeah, true.
On Sunday, the second day of the sweepstakes, the super PAC reframed its messaging around the giveaway, describing the money as payment for a job. In social media posts, the group said winners would be selected to earn $1 million as a spokesperson for America PAC, and subsequently posted pro-Trump testimonial videos featuring the winners. However, several election law experts who spoke to CNN pointed out that the fine print on Musk's super PAC website explaining the official terms of entry did not change.
Which is it might be part of the reason why we haven't seen new winners, because you would assume, again, this is assumptions, but you would assume that if they randomly chose anyone that could sign up for this petition, and that's probably a lot of people who are just trying to roll the dice and see if they win $1 million. If that person is extremely liberal, they're probably, it's $1 million, but they probably wouldn't want to publicly support a pro-Trump super PAC.
For $1 million, though?
But for $1 million, a lot of people could change their minds.
Yeah.
Although, because of that stipulation, you would assume that it would be harder to get these winners out there, because now they have to do a video.
Yeah.
They got to dance around with that check.
It's a big check. It's hard to hold.
And we don't fully expect Musk to give up on any of this until after Election Day, when he will refocus his efforts on either refuting the outcome of the election if Donald Trump loses, or finally attempting to solidify his role in the federal government if Trump wins. The $1 million prize winners may start popping up again soon as another awesome legal loophole for the payouts is made. And basing the $1 million on payment for services only after each winner records a promotional video for America PAC, it seems like it might be enough to protect them in the short term. But at the same time, it does make it a bit more obvious that people are just willing to do or say anything that Musk wants when he is dangling life-changing money over their head. $1 million to anyone outside of the top 1% is life-changing money.
Yeah.
You're talking about a large percentage of the American population is, as we've mentioned before, one horrific medical bill away from complete destitute and bankruptcy.
Yeah, and with $1 million, they'll depending on the emergency, they'll still be one horrific medical bill away.
True, but
a
little bit closer to
more
financial
runway with it.
True. So yes, it's also manipulation in that aspect. So look, maybe there's just a delay in the production of these videos, and they're being very careful about how it's all rolling out. That would be the smart thing to do. And not for nothing, there are, as we said, already reports of people struggling to receive that $47.
Where's my money, Elon?
Or the $100 payouts that they're supposed to get just for signing his stupid petition or referring people to it. It's my money, and I want it now.
Yeah.
So the whole thing, it might end up being questionable on all of that front regarding the $47 payouts as well. Like the way that Musk was selective on paying out inexplicably large sums of money, specifically to conservative Twitter premium users, during the initial rollout of that whole program.
Either way, it's a perfect demonstration of where we're currently at in the great American experiment. Watching the world's richest man throw millions upon millions of dollars around in an attempt to alter the outcome of an election, after buying a large social media platform and turning it into an alt-right hellhole, all while basically accusing everyone along the way of allegedly doing the very things privately that he's currently doing publicly in the open for all to see. It's really bleak, and it's made worse by the fact that we are currently so divided in this country that half of voters are not only turning a blind eye to everything that Trump has said he will do in his next administration, but they're actively endorsing some of the most heartless and immoral policies that we've ever seen.
Yeah, they're not just ignoring it, they're supporting it, which is scarier.
But although if you're on the other side of the aisle, you're definitely hearing the same arguments about people on the left who simply want folks to be left alone, especially when it comes to making decisions about their own bodies. Take this recent clip from Charlie Kirk, for example. He certainly doesn't mince his words and immediately divides people up to being either for or against Christ in his Christian nationalist fantasy world.
The Democrat Party supports everything that God hates. The Democrat Party is espousing the death of the unborn, the mutilation of our teenage kids, open borders, the destruction of our sovereignty, the elimination of our currency status. I believe there is a spiritual battle happening around all of us. And if you're a pastor watching this right now, I hope this touches you. I hope you, and I'm looking right in the camera right now, I hope you give a Sunday sermon and you talk about how the Democrat Party believes everything that God hates. I hope you tell your congregation how to biblically vote.
So pretty wild that among the topics he mentioned as being an affront to God, he would mention that God's pissed because of immigration and because we're not protecting our very valuable currency.
God loves borders.
And he loves money.
He likes strong borders.
God loves strong borders, and he loves the U.S. dollar.
He loves sound monetary policy. And he hates the Federal Reserve.
And
God loves the gold standard.
All those clouds up there, they're actually money bags.
And if you pray, the money rains down on you. And if you're bad, it sucks your money up into the clouds.
Yeah, you can't do the money dance if it's not raining. But look, that's not exactly the point. The point is that he's drawing a biblical line in the sand and claiming that anyone who doesn't align with the conservative agenda is an affront to God.
None of this shit's in the Bible, asshole.
And he instructs churches, this is the worst part, he instructs churches across the country to make these same claims to their congregations, which is definitely already happening, but it's shocking to hear it said out loud in a way that sounds like it's marching orders.
Also, they're kind of not allowed to do that, but no one's fucking enforcing it.
Yeah, there's a great, if not depressing, book about how American churches have slowly morphed into just plain MAGA cults. It's written by the son of a pastor who, among many other things throughout the book, explains how congregants just started migrating to Christian churches that aligned with their extreme political views. And how certain preachers who didn't make things political or didn't show their fervent support for Trump or modern conservatism would receive threats, become mocked in their communities, and then watch as their congregants left for churches that'll just tell them what they want to hear, with no regard for what religion itself is saying. The book's called The Kingdom, the Power, and the Glory. It's by Tim Alberta. I'll leave a link in the description below for that. It's a heavy read, but it's an inside look at what's actually happening specifically with the evangelical movement in the country.
And been happening for a while. Okay, so that was a little heavy, but like we've said over the past couple of episodes, we are so goddamn close to Election Day. Things are getting very intense right now.
Yeah.
It's gonna be quite a ride for the next week or two, and I mean, honestly, who knows how long after that, considering the results will almost certainly be contested, and several states have really primed the pump for that exact scenario.
Oh yeah,
geez.
They're gearing up every kind of election fraud excuse they can pull out in order to delay the results of the election or swing them in someone else's favor.
But for some lighter news, while celebrating the victory of the city's WNBA team, the New York Liberty, disgraced Mayor Eric Adams stepped up to the mic alongside his favorite theme song, You Know the One, only to be booed by what seemed like everyone in attendance.
I mean, you got to hand it to New York until tomorrow or today, if you're watching this, when the Los Angeles Dodgers.
No, they're saying New York.
Yeah, they weren't saying New, they were saying New York. New York can have this one, and luckily Eric Adams will not have to make an appearance for a World Series win because our Los Angeles Dodgers are going to do the other thing. They are going to destroy that fucking team and make sure that Eric Adams cannot do another victory lap.
Got to cut off both of New York's heads.
You're not cheering for the LA Dodgers, you're cheering against Eric Adams.
That's right. Anyway, just for good measure, here's an awkward clip of Tucker Carlson saying that Trump is daddy and we're all bad little girls who need a little spanking? What?
If you allow your hormone-addled 15-year-old daughter to slam the door of her bedroom and give you the finger, you're gonna get more of it. There has to be a point at which dad comes home. And when dad gets home, you know what he says? You've been a bad girl. You've been a bad little girl and you're getting a vigorous spanking right now. You're getting a vigorous spanking because you've been a bad girl.
All right, so yeah, obviously a weird way to get his point across, but that's his brain. And we do have the second half of the show coming right up for you, but let's take a second to thank today's sponsor, Manscaped, the global leader in men's lifestyle and grooming. Every man knows the unbeatable feeling of a fresh barbershop shave. Now, what if I told you that you no longer have to wait weeks or even months between appointments to experience it? Introducing Manscaped's newest innovation, the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver, the game-changing tool that brings the luxury of a professional shave right into your home. Whether you're after that daily silky smooth finish or prefer to maintain a rugged 5 o'clock shadow, the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver is your go-to for precision and style every time. Head over to manscaped.com and join the over 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by using code NEWSDUMP for 20% off plus free shipping.
So what makes the Chairman Pro stand out? Well, it's all about versatility and precision. It comes with 2 interchangeable skin-safe blade heads. You have the skin-safe 4-blade foil for that close, smooth shave when you're looking to go completely clean, or to keep a little scruff, just switch to the skin-safe stubble trimmer to keep your stubble looking sharp and polished. Both heads are designed with skin-safe technology to help reduce razor burn and irritation so your skin feels smooth and comfortable after every shave, reducing redness or discomfort. A standout feature that truly differentiates the Chairman Pro from the rest is the Flex Adjust technology. This innovative technology ensures a superior shave by allowing both blades and the pivoting head to seamlessly adapt to the unique contours of your face and neck, helping you maintain great contact with your skin at every angle.
And here's something that's going to make your grooming routine even easier. The Chairman Pro, it's waterproof. Yep, use it right in the shower.
It gets wet.
And the waterproof feature doesn't just make shaving easier, it also simplifies cleanup too. Just a quick rinse under the sink and you're all set. The Chairman Pro isn't just for daily shaves either. It's powerful enough to tackle up to 5-day growth, making it perfect whether you're shaving every day or just tidying up after a few days. And with up to 75 minutes of runtime on a single charge, you can take your time getting the perfect shave. It even has a travel lock to help make sure it doesn't accidentally turn on in your bag, which is an amazing feature that has ruined multiple trips for me in the past.
Yeah.
It also has an LED spotlight to help ensure that you're getting every detail. Nothing gets missed. Get the Chairman Pro today and experience a shave that is as smooth as you deserve. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code NEWSDUMP at manscaped.com. That is 20% off plus free shipping with code NEWSDUMP at manscaped.com.
Okay, back to the news now. With a string of quick clips and stories that are absolutely not true or just plain baffling, starting with a recent statement from Trump where he claimed that, much like Aurora, Colorado, New York City's Times Square is being completely taken over by migrants who are armed with weapons that no one else can have.
But they even are taking over parts of Times Square. They're all over the place now, and they have weapons like very few people have.
They're bringing in weapons no one's even heard of, folks.
Demonstrably false and very easy to go and verify. There are literally millions of people in Times Square at any given moment.
Yeah, a lot of the response to this claim has just been people posting webcams of Times Square. So,
I mean, I have a lot of problems with Times Square that aren't related to this.
No.
Like, listen, I'm all for talking shit on Times Square.
It's a bad place.
But this ain't it, buddy.
You know, the best rumor would be if the migrants were coming in through that portal.
Yeah.
They installed a portal just outside of Times Square, and Kamala Harris just let the migrants walk right, and now they're doing it in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
They're putting portals all over these beautiful United States.
Where are they putting the other end?
I believe, so...
It was New York and Dublin.
Yeah, the other one, it was I can't remember. It's on the tip of my tongue. But yes, it so far has been somewhat wholesome in Philly.
Okay.
Like the person in the other country held up a sign that said "Go Birds," and everyone really loved that.
Of course. The people in Philly, they're very easy to please.
We need to somehow get word to Trump that these portals are actually able to be used by migrants.
They're called portals.
And they're putting them in Democrat-run cities across the United States. And migrants are coming in, and just like Jeff Goldblum in The Fly, they're walking into the portals with weapons we've never heard of, and they are coming out completely mangled and in different new weapons.
So yeah, New York's Times Square, it's full of people armed with all sorts of weapons, machetes, maybe a mace on a chain.
Yeah,
some of them are dressed like Elmo. It's very strange.
If you
and
walk
very
in with
scary.
a chain and a machete into the portal, it comes out as a chain-wrapped machete.
Yeah,
Yeah.
terrifying. And he goes on to claim that the United States is now an occupied country and that when he wins, Election Day will now be known as Liberation Day. He also, at the same rally, straight up said that journalists are the enemy of the people. Cool. Definitely not beating the fascist accusations with any of these statements, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
Here you go.
The United States is now an occupied country, but it will soon be an occupied country no longer. We're not going to have this. November 5th, 2024 will be called Liberation Day in America. We're going to be liberated. And until we get a fair and free press in this country, they're just bad people. They're the enemy of the people. They are. They're the enemy of the... I've been asked not to say it. I don't want to say it. They're the enemy of the people. And someday they're not going to be the enemy of the people, I hope.
Now next is Nancy Mace, who was on the receiving end...
Speaking of Mace.
who was on the receiving end of an absolutely brutal but all too common community note after taking credit for an infrastructure bill that she voted against. There are public records. This is done publicly in broad daylight. You voted against this.
Not me, but Congress, which I'm a part of.
Yeah. So that didn't stop her from doing a victory lap regarding the $200 million in funds that are being sent to her district in order to improve and expand their roads. So in her post, she said, "We hate traffic just as much as you do. We helped secure $195 million, the largest grant in South Carolina's history from the U.S. Department of Transportation, to kick off the Long Point Road Interchange project. Except, no, you didn't help secure shit. You literally voted against the project that provided these funds. As the note, as well as public records, points out, this project was supported by the 2021 Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, Public Law 11758, which Representative Nancy Mace voted against. In fact, as we've pointed out previously, 0 Democrats voted against this infrastructure bill and 205 Republicans voted against it. But obviously that's not going to stop them from taking credit for it, and they clearly have no shame in doing so.
Listen, I might have voted against it, but that doesn't mean I didn't think that it was a cool bill.
That would be the excuse, is that I knew it was going to pass, but I voted against it anyway to let everyone know that I wasn't just a big fan of socialism, which I hate, but also I like the money. Because it improves the roads, which is not socialism somehow.
It's not socialism when it improves my roads.
Yes. It only is
And I
when
get to take credit for it.
Yes. Insane.
Speaking of conservatives not only attempting to defund vital services, but actually convincing their supporters to attack certain agencies with baseless conspiracy theories, things got so bad during the 2 most recent hurricanes that the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, actually put out a statement clarifying that no one can control the weather or steer hurricanes into parts of the country they don't like. Which is an insane thing to have to come out and say publicly, but that's where we are. In their multi-part response to recent conspiracies, the NOAA pointed out the following, among other things. No technology exists that can create, destroy, modify, strengthen, or steer hurricanes in any way, shape, or form. All hurricanes, including Helene and Milton, are natural phenomena that form on their own due to aligning conditions of the ocean and atmosphere. And that's, you know, they explain it there, but like really, like, the more you explain it, the more absurd it is, because like the sheer fucking scale of what has to, like the conditions that have to come into play to make a hurricane happen.
The power within one hurricane is so astronomical that it defies any explanation that you'd be able to control.
Yeah, you will just like turn up the burner on the fucking Caribbean Sea. How much water could that be?
I mean, they've technically been doing that, but over a very long period of time.
Right.
And not the people that you think are turning up the heat.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about, and no, that's not real.
So that's
I
fake.
think I know what you're about to say, and can't fool me. It still snows at Christmas. So
Take that, checkmate libs. But also in regards to claims that Doppler radar was somehow responsible for controlling the storms.
Oh, I wish.
Radars are tools for observation and are not able to direct the motion or intensity of air masses or storms. NEXRAD Doppler radars detect precipitation and the motion of the precipitation particles. The radar can determine an object's location, shape, intensity, and movement relative to the radar, but cannot alter or move those objects in any way. NEXRAD radars have been an essential weather forecasting tool since the 1990s, and weather radars in general have been in use in the United States since the 1950s.
I don't think so, Noah, because guess what? Why is it that every time a cop points their radar gun at my car goes faster than the speed limit?
Even though I swear to the officer that
I drive really safe and correctly, but whenever they point that radar at my car, mysteriously, I'm going 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 miles an hour over the speed limit.
Yep.
Not me, the radar.
It is, I mean, it's frustrating and sad that the NOAA is putting out statements that sound like someone who's doing like a guest appearance at a kindergarten to be like, can I explain to you what radar is?
Can you control the weather? How do I make a hurricane?
Anyways, they even reference claims that somehow solar geoengineering was to blame.
Which is what?
Solar geoengineering, a theoretical practice which would modify the atmosphere to shade Earth's surface by reflecting sunlight back into space, is not taking place at scale anywhere in the world. Geoengineering did not impact Hurricanes Helene and Milton, let alone make them worse. The Earth's warming atmosphere can cause hurricanes to intensify rapidly and carry more moisture, allowing them to dump higher amounts of rain. Record to near-record warm ocean temperatures across the Gulf of Mexico allowed Hurricanes Helene and Milton to rapidly intensify. Natural steering currents in the upper atmosphere determine a storm's path. So there you go.
But you admit the sun is powerful and has tremendous energy that we as humans can harness for our own. Oh, not like that?
Not like we can't steal the energy from the sun. We can only somehow deflect it in ways that create massive natural disasters.
Sounds like it would be a great source for some sort of unlimited energy source that could power everything without having to pollute and extract fossil fuels and whatnot.
I do love
But I guess it's only really good for you turn a mirror and then you control the weather.
My favorite just obvious take about all of this, even when it was happening, was people just being like, well, I mean, personally, I would vote for the party that has the power to control hurricanes, but that's just me.
Yeah, I don't want to get on their bad side. Not that any of these rational science-based responses will have any effect whatsoever on half the population whose only point of reference for believing crackpot theories is whether or not it feels like the right answer. And for most of these people, they simply feel like there are evil forces at play, very devilish forces.
Yeah.
And that one of those evil forces is the government. The government, the all-powerful government, who can't get anything done.
They can't do anything unless it's controlling a huge natural disaster that takes out an entire third of the country.
They bungle damn near everything that comes across their desk, except when it comes to controlling the weather, which they're very good at. Mm-hmm. And of course, helping to stoke the flames of these conspiracies was Russia. Yeah. And this is in spite of the fact that these hurricane conspiracies originated right here in the good old USA. It's when we talk about Russian disinformation, they're like playing the hits.
They're breathing oxygen into the fire.
It's like back in the 90s, you don't want to buy all these albums, you just want to buy Monster Jams and have all the best songs on one CD. Yeah. That's what the Russians are basically doing, what the Monster Jams company did. Yeah. Where they're finding the hottest dumb shit people are posting.
And amplifying.
And they're being like, you know what? That's going on Monster Jams. So yeah, Russia just did what it does best. It sat back, watched our country and the idiots in it drum up some insanity that got people frothing mad, and then they just threw a little bit of gas on the fire and watched it burn.
Yep.
Axios explains the details thanks to some recent analysis from a watchdog group, and see if any of this sounds familiar.
Russia helped propagate disinformation about Hurricanes Helene and Milton in order to deepen political divisions in the U.S. and undermine America's support for Ukraine, according to a new analysis. The findings underscore Russia's ability to manipulate political discourse in the U.S. The study noted that Kremlin-backed actors appeared to be stepping up their efforts in the final stretch of the United States presidential race. The disinformation was spread largely unchecked on social media by Russian state media accounts and pro-Kremlin networks, according to the new analysis from the Institute for Strategic Dialogue. The misleading post advanced several divisive narratives, including using U.S. support for Ukraine to paint the government as prioritizing Ukrainians over Americans. The campaign also sought to portray the Biden administration as incompetent or corrupt, and FEMA as unable to provide adequate assistance because of the government's purported support of immigrants.
Now, that's what I call disinformation, volume infinity.
Yeah.
And they add that While Russian sources helped promote these narratives, they often originated from U.S. domestic sources, including public figures like Elon Musk and former President Trump, the study found. Exploiting narratives already circulating in the U.S. is on par with Russia's strategy of amplifying divisive domestic issues to weaken public trust in institutions, diminish support for U.S. global engagements, and ultimately undermine the stability of liberal democracies, the think tank noted. By tying the FEMA response to Ukraine, Russia aims to paint U.S. support for its adversaries as actively harmful to U.S. citizens.
Yeah.
And I love this one. And I see this is one of the really bipartisan takes that a lot of people have is that if only we weren't giving weapons to Ukraine and Israel, the government would surely be spending that money on things that matter for the average person. It's like, no, they fucking wouldn't. I wish they would.
That would be great.
But
also, this goes back to the same claims about immigrants and migrants, where conservatives are so angry that programs exist to just give the basic survival things to migrants and immigrants, where they're like, well, if that wasn't happening, we would definitely all have everything we wanted. The roads would be paved in gold. We'd all have healthcare and everything. And no, actually, you vote against all of that all the time.
Yeah.
So what are we arguing about here? Do you want that or not? And why are you using this one topic as a linchpin for it?
One of the funniest moments in recent U.S. history that no one fucking talks about or even acknowledges is when the USSR collapsed. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of discussion of okay, we've been spending a lot of fucking money on the military and all of our bases around the world and nuclear preparedness. And now that we won and our adversary doesn't exist, I mean, that's a lot of money we could be spending on a lot of other shit. We could maybe do universal health care. We could definitely afford it.
Yeah.
And there was a couple months of people being really excited about now's America's time to shine now that we don't have to spend insane amounts of just billions and trillions of dollars.
We could catch up with the modern world and offer free education and healthcare.
Yeah, and then it just
nope.
Everyone just fucking forgot about it.
Yeah, it's very aggravating.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Also, did you see the recent, they put it in a wonderful chart to just show visually the budget discrepancies between, it's specifically about Los Angeles, but the LAPD budget versus everything else. Every other program that exists in the city of LA.
So that's part of a larger story recently that the reporting on it has been infuriating to me, even on local stations that should know better, where LA is having some pretty bad budget problems right now. That's true.
Yeah.
But it's being framed just gosh, the city government just can't balance a damn budget. But then you look into it and it's it's because the LAPD owes an insane amount of money because they keep beating the shit out of innocent people and getting successfully sued over it.
And then
having to pay out liability.
Yeah. But even in this chart, it was so depressingly funny because the chart it has the LAPD budget, and then it has all social services, the fire department, things like that are all having their budgets reduced. And the LAPD budget is this giant green line. And then you realize that there's a second slide, and you slide it, and the green line keeps going.
Yeah.
And every other line is that big. It is so astronomically lopsided that it should be fucking infuriating.
Yeah, I made a meme several years ago where I took the thin blue line flag and I was it's the thin blue line flag, but if the line was proportionally sized to be the portion of the average local city government, and the line was most of the flag. It was a very fat, thick blue line.
Anyway, speaking of potential manipulation coming from outside the country, it turns out that the betting site, Polymarket, the one that shows Trump is heavily, astronomically favored to win the presidency based on the bets placed in its site, they've confirmed that the whale accounts that make up the majority of the bets for Trump are tied to one person, a French national with, quote, extensive trading experience.
What's his name? Elon Musk?
Hello! My name is Elon Musk!
I'd like to place another bet!
Do you take Ethereum or just a soul?
Did you see the video today of an Uber driver kicking out his passengers because they were getting mad at him for literally
They're you're gonna lose all your money.
placing Polymarket bets on the fucking screen of his Tesla? And he's like, I'm not kicking you out because I disagree with you. I'm kicking you out because you were making fun of me.
Well, experience with this guy notwithstanding, it obviously shows that there is a bias pushing majority of the betting market because this one person's bets make up a pretty significant portion of the entire total wagers placed.
Yeah,
It's you're putting a thumb on the scale.
it's not a real data point.
No, it's a betting site that isn't even allowed to operate in the United States. Now, having said that, of course, people are working. It's a crypto site, so
Yeah.
obviously people are finding ways, which they probably shouldn't because crypto is the most easily traceable fucking fund.
Yeah, also, you're not getting your money back.
No, it's gone. Here's more from Business Insider.
Polymarket confirmed to Dealbook that some speculation about the whale was correct. A single trader controls the 4 accounts that have been placing the bets. The accounts on Polymarket, Freddy9999, Theo4, Princess Caro, and Michi, had $45 million, Jesus, $45 million in open positions as of Thursday morning, per data from the crypto-based betting website. Most of those bets favor Trump winning the presidential election and the popular vote next month, along with some bets favoring Republican wins in closely contested swing states. Polymarket said it launched an investigation into the 4 accounts with the help of outside experts and made contact with the trader. An analysis by BI found that one of the accounts, Theo4, had made as many as 71 bets a minute earlier this week, and 2 accounts, Theo4 and Freddy9999, had made as many as 2,500 bets in a 24-hour period.
Yeah, and they explain why those bets are happening. It's basically so that if you did massive bets all at once, it would tilt the odds outside of your favor. So that's why they're like, you can tell this guy's experienced because of the way that he's manipulating the market, or however you want to call it, allegedly.
Okay.
Yeah. So earlier reporting from Insider displayed a few theories as to why someone would be betting so big, aside from just really truly believing that Trump is going to win and putting millions of dollars on the line.
$45 million.
That's a lot.
Paul Krishnamurti, a betting market expert and political odds maker for Bet Online, said the big bets could be an attempt to influence the election by generating publicity for the former president and making it appear that his odds of winning are much higher than the polls suggest. Oh, really? What? I can't believe you've done this. Trump leads Vice President Kamala Harris on Polymarket, which estimates he has a 64% chance of winning the election, while the chances of a Harris win are about 36% on the site. That's much different from the polls, with Trump and Harris virtually tied in the latest polling average from 538. Krishnamurti said it's impossible to know whether the bets were a genuine opinion about how the race would shake out. But it is equally possible to believe the bets were placed with the intention to change the narrative in Trump's favor, he added. And they also quote a recent interview with the outlet, The Journal.
Adam Cochran, a ventured crypto investor, told The Journal that the betting spree on Polymarket appeared to be a campaign to boost the narrative that Trump has a lot of momentum going into Election Day. It is by far the most efficient political advertising one can buy, Cochran told The Journal. When Trump's odds of winning the election initially soared on Polymarket on October 7th, Elon Musk, who has strongly endorsed Trump and contributed tens of millions to a pro-Trump super PAC, retweeted a screenshot of the election odds and said, "Victory is not enough. It must be absolutely decisive victory." And once again, just so you understand what's on the line here, in addition to everything else, Trump has once again publicly flaunted the fact that if he is elected, all those pesky criminal problems, all those investigations, everything like that, it's immediately going to go away because his first duty as president would be to fire the guy who's prosecuting him. Here's the Washington Post.
Former President Donald Trump said Thursday that he would fire special counsel Jack Smith on his first day back in the White House if he is elected again, making clear that he would push to drop a pair of federal cases against him. In an interview Thursday morning with conservative podcast host Hugh Hewitt, Trump was asked what he would do if he had to choose between firing Smith or pardoning himself at the start of a second term. "Oh, it's so easy. It's so easy. I would fire him within 2 seconds," Trump said of Smith, who is leading the Justice Department's investigations into Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election and the hoarding of classified documents.
So, just a reminder to please fucking vote. And if you can, vote early. Do it now. I voted last week.
Vote early and vote often.
I dropped my ballot in one of our city's beautiful dedicated ballot boxes and got an email a few days later confirming that my votes were recorded. So there you go. Do your civic duty. Vote. It's all very stressful. And it does, just the act of voting takes just a little bit of the pressure off yourself. It is kind of a relief to be like, okay, I've done my part. It's out of my hands now.
Maybe I'll do it this weekend. Voting in LA, they send you a novel that you have to sit down and read, and you're like,
true, yeah.
I don't even know what any of this shit means. I need to go get the Cliff's Notes from like 2 or 3 other sources.
And it's hard to search
an all-day
online
affair.
too because everything is biased. But there's a couple great outlets that have voter guides.
I got
explanations.
my selection. Like the DSA is usually my first one to go to because they explain in pretty plain language like what all the laws are and why they support them, and I'm pretty fucking aligned with them on basically everything. And then I'll find 1 or 2 other sources that have their own voter guides,
There you go.
and that saves me from having to think for myself at all, which is awesome.
Much like with everything else in life, paying bills or whatever, once you vote, it's off your shoulders. You don't have to worry about it anymore. And you can at least, look, it's going to be stressful for the next couple of days and weeks, but at least the pressure won't be on you anymore. So just fucking submit your vote, have it be over with.
Submit.
And the most important thing you can do besides voting is clicking the like button.
Vote with your thumb by clicking
Click
that
the
like
button on the video right now. Do it right now. Make sure you subscribed. And then, of course, get a comment section going down below, or get a forum going down below in our comment section. It's the new social media, as we've been saying. Everyone talk about stuff that we talked about today, or whatever's going on in your life. Something that's not stressful, maybe. In addition to that, please watch our most recent videos. They're popping up there right now. It's a lot more of election coverage and what's going on with all of that, but it's important stuff. So check both of those out. We'll see you soon for some weird news.
Bye-bye.